bang. The Los Angeles Rams, they survived, they advanced, they beat the Carolina Panthers in a game that came down to the wire. The Rams had to mount a comeback at the end with 2:39 left to play. Matthew Stafford marched down the field to get his 4th career playoff victory. He's got 6 playoff wins in his career. He's come back in 4 of those games. Now, let's start, though, with an injury update we got one on Kevin Dotson. Akella Witherspoon is out for the remainder of the playoffs. He re-injured that scapula, so the Rams got to do something about that secondary. But here was Sean McVay after the game with an injury update and what's ahead for the Rams.
That was such a big, I will say.
What about what's Kevin Dotson's?
He's making great progress. I was really encouraged. I thought he had a great week last week. Optimistic about what that looks like for this week. Been proud as hell of how Justin Dedich has battled, but the expectations, and I know Kevin's preparing to go play this week, and we're going to really, push that thing and see how he feels with the optimism that there's a good chance that he makes it.
And Terrence Ferguson and some of the other guys?
Feel really good about Terrence. Terrence and Josh Wallace are the other guys that are looking really good. They were right up until kickoff. There was a possibility that they could make it. Kevin obviously was the one guy that we did rule out, and been really pleased with his progress, but just based on the nature of some of the things his position would require. But with some of those other guys, it's looking pretty good.
So there we go. Sean McVay gives a positive update. They need Kevin Dotson back. The run game was certainly there. It's just like Sean McVay tends to do, he completely abandoned it when they needed it the most. Now, a lot of people are down on the Rams because they let the Carolina Panthers compete with them in that game. The Rams had a chance to absolutely make a laugh out of it. They came out of the gate strong. It looked like the Rams were going to blow out the Panthers, but that wasn't the case. And it's the NFL playoffs. You're not going to blow out every single team, especially on the road. Did they have a chance to do it? They did, but it didn't happen. And I don't think that that's necessarily something to be overly concerned about with this Rams team, because we know what they are. I've said it before. I'm convinced that this Rams team, they could be playing an all-pro team, they could be playing a high school team, and they would win or lose by 3 points, right? But this is a Rams team that had a near-perfect start. The way they started, it looked like it was going to be a blowout. You go up and you march down the field. Matthew Stafford was 8 for 8. You get a big touchdown. And then late in the second, you are in a position where you go for on 4th and 3 inside the 20. Instead of kicking a field goal, it was a 17-7 game at that point. If you kick the field goal, it ends up being a 20-7 game at that point, and you really start to kind of seize control. It looks like it's over and you are going to pull away. But here's the thing. You got to take some risks in some situations, and the Rams definitely are one of the better fourth quarter teams and teams that going for it on 4th down, so you kind of feel like they always have a chance. But I look at that situation right there where the Rams, in a big moment, you're probably going to lose control of a playoff game at some point just to get it back. But they started 1 for 7 on 3rd down in that one. On the year, they're 20th in the NFL on 3rd down, but they're the 5th best team in the NFL on 4th down. So it comes down to execution. They didn't get it. And just because you don't get the result that you want does not mean it was a bad result, right? Like we talk about sometimes, you only talk about the results and you talk about what happened. At the time, it was the turning point. It ended up being a major swing in that game. And the Panthers, they gone down the field and they put up a score. They go 81 yards on 5 plays. But I think in that situation, what really hurt them was after halftime, and they come out and they go 3 straight incompletions, and Matthew Stafford got injured. Matthew Stafford got hit in the finger, and it really hurt his play. And there's no doubt about the fact that he was feeling it in that moment. Stafford was playing through adrenaline, but he was missing throws that he typically never misses. He was making plays later in the game that he was missing. And heading into the fourth quarter, Stafford was on a 4-19 slide for 47 yards with an interception. The third quarter alone, he was 2 for 10 for 24 yards. So to say he was playing bad entering that fourth quarter would have been a complete understatement. But all of a sudden, it's Matthew Stafford again. And the MVP awakens, and he ends up going 12 for 15 for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. On the game-winning drive with 2:39 left to play, he goes 6 for 7 for 71 yards. It was his first game-winning drive since week 4, and that saved the Rams' season. Here was Matthew Stafford after the game.
Pretty calm, pretty steady. Just felt like I was seeing the coverages really well. Guys up front did a hell of a job keeping me clean on that last drive too, giving me time to click through some progressions. And, I feel like I said, I've been in that spot a lot in my life. And so bring a smile to my face because I like being there, and would love to be up, 14 and taking a knee on it with, 4 minutes left. But wins the win.
He has been in that spot. He has now 6 playoff wins. It's tied with Johnny Unitas, Bob Greasy, Fran Target, and 4 of those 6 have come on game-winning drives where it's tied, and that's tied for the 5th most all time with Dan Marino, Terry Bradshaw, and Brandon Roethlisberger. So, look, it's Matthew Stafford. You know he's going to come up big in those situations. He was 6 for 7 on that final drive when he hit Colby Parkinson for that go-ahead touchdown. And one of those incompletions was a drop by Davante Adams. And just what a play by Colby Parkinson. The catch that he made had a 27.3% catch probability. And he goes up, he grabs it. And if that's any other tight end in the NFL, one of the big name tight ends, the Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, whoever it may be, you're probably talking about a little more. If that was Puka Nacua, definitely be talking about a little more. But Parkinson goes up and gets it, and he makes one of the great catches that we've seen in recent Rams history.
High, outside, left foot, right foot. He is in. Tell you what, Colby Parkinson, they paid him a lot of money. Originally drafted in Seattle. My last year in Seattle, he was one of our young tight ends, and I think everyone thought he was going to be good, but he has taken on a huge role in this Rams offense down the stretch, and this place is...
So just an incredible grab by Colby Parkinson, a great moment there by Matthew Stafford. The Rams had a 28.1% chance of winning that game when Matthew Stafford got the ball. And it's just an example why you have to throw all those projections out of the window. Do the computers, does the data account for Matthew Stafford's history, his clutch factor? I don't think it does. And Stafford said one of the coldest things that a quarterback has ever said to one of his teammates right before that drive. And Davante Adams said after the game that Matthew Stafford said that they were going to snatch the hearts out of the Panthers, and they certainly did.
Yeah, I think he said, let's go snatch these guys' hearts. And that was pretty cold. That was pretty cold. Just to hear that, and I actually literally smiled in the moment because I thought that was one of the most gangster things you could say in that moment, honestly. And to hear him say that and the look on his face and then throw the touchdown and then the look on his face after that was just MVP stuff.
So that's when the playoff experience just really, really plays up. I mean, that's where you need experienced veterans, guys that have gone through those wars. And the big question now is, can the Rams overcome their issues? You saw the quarterback mask a lot of those issues, but the defense, even with the Rams front seven getting pressure at almost 50% clip, the secondary was cooked. I mean, you saw Emmanuel Forbes and Kobe Durant and Quinn Lake and Akella Witherspoon's out for the remainder of the season. Darius Williams, we'll see what happens with that. Can they find enough success and not get exploited to beat teams like the Bears or the Seahawks or 49ers or whoever comes out of the AFC? Because right now it's tough to say. because it's not just the secondary, it's also special teams. You had a punt block that led to the Panthers going up. You did make a field goal in the first half, but I think if the Rams are going to make the run that they are capable of making, you got to clean that stuff up. The Rams haven't had good special teams since John Fossil had taken over. I mean, if you had Matt Gay or Greg Zuerlein, you'd feel a little better. We have Harrison Mevis and you have Benko Twika, who was taking over for Chase Blackburn to run the special teams unit. So it's a major, major concern. It really, really is. You give up big plays over the middle. You don't have size at the cornerback spot. Akella Witherspoon's done for the season. And here's the thing. Every team has strengths and weaknesses. Every team has those weaknesses. They found a way to win. They're going to have to play a lot better. They're going to have to play a lot better if they're going to want to beat the Bears at Soldier Field. Now, got to shine a light on Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is the best receiver in the NFL. And the Rams drafted him with their 4th pick in the 5th round. He's not just a great receiver. He is a great receiver in the playoffs. And that takes you to a whole nother level. He had another massive game for the Rams. Over 100 yards receiving. Had a couple touchdowns. Yes, he did drop what would have been a touchdown before the half. But he more than made up for it with an incredible play in the 4th quarter. A play that might have saved the Rams season. A play that shows you that it's not just he's an offensive player, a receiver. He's a ball player. He's a football player. He goes up and he breaks up what would have been Matthew Stafford's 2nd interception. Would have given the Panthers all the momentum once again. And the Rams could be in Cancun right now if it weren't for this play by Puka Nacua.
They put him in the gun. Stafford looking, throwing over Nakua's head and broken up. Nacua turned into a DB and got it away from Nick Scott. I said broken up, and it was by the receiver.
That is such a heads-up play because you see Nacua, he stops. Stafford thinks he's going to keep going, and then Puka Nacua does his best defensive backs. He just punches his right hand right through Nick Scott. You're lucky that wasn't another pick.
Puka Nacua might be the Rams' best defensive back right now. That play showed so much savvy, so much football IQ. He knew that he didn't have a chance to catch it, and he just breaks from his route, turns completely from Stafford, and just tries to break it up. And they're trying to pick on Nick Scott, and he's able to knock that ball out, and the Rams would end up surviving. They would end up winning this game. I mean, Puka Nacua absolutely saved the season. He now has over 100 yards in his playoff career. Essentially, when he's out there, he's a lock for that. He's played in 4 playoff games and has over 100 yards in half of those games. His 30 playoff receptions are tied with Larry Fitzgerald for the 3rd most in a player's first 4 playoff games. He also has the 4th most receiving yards in a player's first 4 playoff games. Puka got the Rams their first touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns. He became the only Rams player to record a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown in a game. He didn't have that drop, but more than made up for it. So, hey, Travis Hunter, eat your heart out. Shohei Ohtani, you got company. There's another 2-way player in Los Angeles, and it's Puka Nacua saving the season for the Rams. I think that Matthew Stafford's the Rams MVP, but Puka Nacua is the heart and soul of the Rams. It's that grit, that effort that really shows up in big situations, and you got to love it. What a moment for the Rams. Find a way to win. And I think that even though they had their ups and downs in that one, even though it felt like they played down to their competition, I feel like the Rams are in the best spot of any of the teams remaining in the NFC as far as their path to getting to Super Bowl LX in San Francisco. Think about what could have been if the 49ers lost to the Eagles. They'd be playing the Seahawks in Seattle. And sure, you can beat Seattle. Sure, you were going to blow them out the last time you were up there. but you never want to play the number 1 seed in the divisional round. Now they don't have to do that. The Eagles, a team that's been their nemesis for the last couple years, they're knocked out. Worst vibes team in NFL history, in my eyes. And then now you've got the Chicago Bears, who are a really good team. You've got Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams is finding himself in Chicago doing the Salt Bay cheese grater. I love that. But still, it's a young quarterback in the playoffs. In Chicago, they feel like they're playing with house money at this point. You won a playoff game in your first year with Ben Johnson. They're a team that was on their way to getting blown out by the Green Bay Packers without Micah Parsons, without Tucker Kraft. If the Rams go into Chicago and beat the Bears, they either go to Seattle and you play a division opponent for the 3rd time in a season, which I think helps you, or you host the San Francisco 49ers, the Red Cowboys, and it's bang, bang, Niner gang, and it's going to be bang, bang, escalator gang once again like we saw in 2021. So I love the fact that this is shaping up the way that it is. I think the path is there for the Rams. I really, really do. I think the path is there for the Rams. And just look at this. They beat up the Vikings pretty good last year in the wild card round, and they lost in the division round. They got their wake-up call early against the Panthers. They know that they're going to be a road team unless it's the 49ers, so they've got to lock in. You've got Matthew Stafford, who led them to another massive, massive win in the playoffs. Didn't have his best stuff. It's like a pitcher that doesn't have his best stuff, but he still finds a way to win. That was Stafford against the Panthers. Comes back late. Other thing, though, you're just going to get a better version of the Rams moving forward. I mean, is Matthew Stafford going to throw another interception? Is he going to play injured? Is Quentin Lake going to get beaten that bad? Or is he going to improve after getting his first game under his belt? Is Devontae Adams going to get his feet under him? I think so. And another thing, too, is penalties. Just look at the penalties in that game that really hurt the Rams. The Rams were the least penalized team in the NFL this year, but they had a lot of penalties that were costly against the Panthers on Sunday. Kobe Durant had a pass interference in the end zone on a 3rd down. That led to Chuba Hubbard's touchdown. Quentin Lake had a pass interference right before the half. That led to a Panthers touchdown. The Rams just continue to shoot themselves in the foot all afternoon. And in the second half, Braden Fisk called for an offsides on 3rd and 5. That gave the Panthers a free play. They ended up moving the chains. And then on special teams, too, Deshaun Johnson was called for unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Panthers' kick return in the 3rd quarter. That gave them an extra 15 yards. That started their drive to the 46-yard line. So the Rams have been great under Sean McVay, but you get 9 penalties, 83 yards. That is not Rams football. The big thing to look forward to is just the cornerback play like we talked about. That has to change. They tried to put Emmanuel Forbes on Ted McMillan. That didn't work. Jalen Coker, he was open, felt like all game. The Rams just did not get it done, and it was a matchup nightmare. The Panthers were getting whatever they wanted on the outside. One of the biggest plays of the game, that 15-yard catch by Coker, and Durant just could not get it done in coverage. So, I mean, bigger takeaway is they're going to have to draft a cornerback. Absolutely 100%. They can't do it now. So, we'll see. I think that there's a lot at stake as far as that position. But Devontae Adams was up and down. I mean, 5 receptions for 72 yards. Special teams clearly not fixed. Sean McVay abandoned the run too early. He really did. But I still feel good about this Rams team moving forward. I think they're going to beat the Bears. And I think that I still believe, like the intro says, the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. I still feel like they are. Let's get some super chats in here. We got Trade Herbert along with a first for Lamar Jackson. That's from Tone Loke. The True Seeker, let's go Rams. I'll give you a just ram it. We've got Don Kim, Miss Dodgers Nation live today, but glad to be here for LASR. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Join us on Laser. Hopefully this week we'll get the call-ins, man. I want to hear you guys' the dulcet tones of your voices on this show. My birds are out from Carrier. Hey, you won a Super Bowl last year. It'll be fine. Rams beat Bears 34-17. BC, glad McVay abandoned their run in the Super Bowl when they averaged 1.9 yards per carry, and Stafford won the game with his arm. Yeah, that's with a different running backs group. On Saturday, I mean, Kyron had 57 yards on 13 carries. Blake Corum had 45 on 11 carries. So you ran the ball efficiently. You just didn't run the ball enough. And I think that could be a sign that you are a little just pass happy. It felt like Sean McVay was kind of chasing those points through the air after the second half. We got Patriots, baby, from Dodger. Let's go, Rams, F for everyone else. Where did the offensive line go for the Chargers? Yeah, you tell me. Chargers don't have what it takes. Mario, D-Mac in the game, putting in work. There we go. Yeah, Chargers, please go back to San Diego. They are football lonely. Ricardo, what up, Ricardo Sandoval, my buddy? The Chargers were without two of their top offensive players in Alton Slater. Tough to overcome that. Yeah, I could not agree more. Like I said, Justin Herbert, never forget, it was me when the entire media slandered you for that 24-hour stretch after you lost to the Patriots. It was me, your boy, D-Mac, right here. You got David Portnoy, when you got every NFL analyst, when you even got Chargers podcasters and analysts saying they need more from you. I need more from you, but I've got your back. I still think you're a top 5 quarterback in this league. It's just you're on the San Diego Padres. I mean, San Diego Chargers. Is there really a difference? I mean, LA let you guys see what I'm saying here, right? And look, I want Justin Herbert to be the champ. Like the Chargers, if you're going to be an LA team, stop doing San Diego stuff in LA. How about that? How about that? The Chargers are acting like a San Diego team in Los Angeles. Okay? It's time to start acting like an LA team in Los Angeles if you want to win over the fan base and you want to get eyeballs in this city. Let's just call that what it is. Because right now the Chargers are way down the pecking order when it comes to overall interest. And guess what? The good thing for you, San Diego, is that this is a front runner town. Like if you win, they will show up like we heard in Field of Dreams. So I still believe that they got a franchise quarterback. They just got to do better around him. Okay. How come you don't cover the LA Angels on this show? Well, because they don't live, they're not in LA. They're in Anaheim. They really are. But you know what? For you, we might do some Angels stuff in here. Might as well. Drew Durr, the Rams took care of business. I didn't like to not kick that field goal late in the first half. Yeah. Ruben, the LA Chargers are starting to make the San Diego Padres look like a good playoff team. Ooh, that's a burn. That is a burn. All right, let's switch gears. Talk some Dodger baseball.